Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral meeting with King of Bhutan Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk in New Delhi, reiterates India's full support for socio-economic development of Bhutan and additional standby credit facility. 7 tourists killed after massive avalanche hits Gangtok Nathula Road in Sikkim, 23 people rescued so far. Union Home Ministry seeks detailed report from West Bengal government on violence during Ram Navami procession. Inflation in India to further ease to 5.2% in current financial year, says World Bank. And in IPL cricket, match between Delhi Capitals and Gujarat Titans underway in Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and King of Bhutan Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk held a bilateral meeting in New Delhi today. During the meeting, both the sides reviewed the entire gamut of bilateral cooperation to further boost their ties. Briefing media about the meeting, Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra said Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's full support for socio-economic development of Bhutan.
Prime Minister, on his part, reiterated India's continued and full support to the socio-economic development in Bhutan. There were 5 broad discussion range issues. First was on economic and development partnership. Second bucket of issues was relating to trade, connectivity and investment cooperation. The third related element pertained to long-term and sustainable trade facilitation measures of both economies. 4, as part of new paradigms on energy cooperation, and the last subsegment in the economic chapeau relating to new sectors, space, startups.
Talking about the outcomes of the meeting, Mr. Kwatra said India will also work to extend an additional standby credit facility.
It was agreed that India would step up its support to Bhutan's upcoming 13th 5-year plan. The specifics of this support, its distribution into different projects. 2, at Bhutan's request, India would work to extend an additional standby credit facility. This would be over and above the 2 existing standby credit facilities that is operating between the 2 countries. 3rd, we would work to shape long-term sustainable arrangements for export of agricultural commodities from Bhutan. Also work to develop long-term bilateral arrangements for assured supply of critical commodities to Bhutan, which would include petroleum, fertilizers and coal.
Later, the Prime Minister in a tweet said it was warm and productive meeting with King of Bhutan. The Bhutanese king also met President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan this evening. On the occasion, the President said, as Bhutan's largest development partner, India is proud to support projects in the country in several sectors. The Bhutanese king arrived in India yesterday on a 3-day visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the 5th edition of the International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure today. Mr. Modi called upon the world for an integrated approach to deal with the impact of disasters.
The CDRI arose from a global vision. In a closely connected world, the impact of disasters will not just be local. Disaster in one region can have a big impact on a completely different region. Therefore, our response has to be integrated, not isolated.
In Sikkim, at least 7 tourists died after an avalanche struck the Gangtok Nathula Road today. The avalanche hit the 14th mile on Jawaharlal Nehru Road, connecting popular tourist destinations of Changu Lake and Nathula Pass in the state. A defense spokesperson said around 20 to 30 tourists are feared to be trapped under the snow, along with 5 to 6 vehicles. Our correspondent reports around 23 tourists have been rescued so far.
Around 23 tourists have been rescued so far, including 6 from Deep Valley and shifted to medical facilities in a mission launched by Trishakti Corps of the Indian Army and teams of BRO Project Swastik, State Disaster Management and Police. In addition, 350 stranded tourists and 80 vehicles were rescued after snow clearance from the road. Saikat Sarkar from Gangtok for AIR.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said all possible assistance is being provided to the affected. Mr. Modi expressed condolences to those who lost their loved ones. Home Minister Amit Shah said the centre is closely monitoring the situation. He said teams of NDRF will soon reach the affected area. Sikkim Chief Minister P.S. Tamang expressed solidarity with the bereaved families and hoped for the speedy recovery of the injured. The Union Home Ministry has sought a detailed report from the West Bengal government on the violence that broke out between two groups during a Ram Navami procession. The violence took place when a Ram Navami procession was taken out in Howrah city in the state last week. Earlier, Mr. Shah also spoke to West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose and took stock of the situation. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today said attempts to stop Ram Navami processions are a matter of concern in a peaceful country like India. In an apparent reference to recent incidents of violence during Ram Navami, Mr. Thakur alleged that the Chief Minister of a particular state is trying to create friction in society. The minister was addressing a function in New Delhi on the occasion of Mahavir Jayanti. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. All India Radio is presenting vignettes of select quotes of the Prime Minister from Mann Ki Baat as the program completes its 100th episode this month. In this 42nd episode, let's listen to the excerpts of the program in which the Prime Minister spoke about the impact of Lord Ram in the arena of international diplomacy.
People, voice and direct dialogue. That's your and our Mann Ki Baat. Yes, this is how our Prime Minister connects with millions of countrymen. With the program Mann Ki Baat, aired on the last Sunday of every month on All India Radio. This series, which started on October 3rd, 2014, will complete its 100th episode in April 2023. In the 42nd episode of this special program, let's listen to those excerpts of the Prime Minister in which he spoke about the impact of Ram Nam in the arena of international diplomacy. Lord Ram and Krishna are not only our cultural ideals, but have also been our cultural ambassadors. Ram Katha is one among the many things that has impacted the society and culture of many countries. In the Mann Ki Baat program broadcast on 25th March 2018, while talking of the summit of the ASEAN countries, he brought up the importance of Ram Nam in exercising cultural diplomacy.
पूज्य बापू के जीवन में राम नाम की शक्ति कितनी थी, वो हमने उनके जीवन में हर पल देखा है। पिछले दिनों 26 जनवरी को जब आसियान देशों के सभी महानुभाव यहाँ थे, तो वो अपने साथ कल्चरल ट्रूप लेकर के आए थे और बड़े गर्व की बात है, उसमें से अधिकतम देश रामायण को ही हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत कर रहे थे। यानी राम और रामायण न सिर्फ भारत में, लेकिन विश्व के इस भूभाग में, आसियान कंट्रीज में आज भी उतने ही प्रेरणा और प्रभाव पैदा कर रहे हैं।
Inflation in the country will further ease to 5.2% in financial year 2023-24 against 6.6% in the previous fiscal as per the World Bank. In its report, the World Bank also projected that the current account deficit of the country will narrow to 2.1% of gross domestic product for the current fiscal year from an estimated 3% in the previous fiscal. To check inflation, the RBI has raised interest rates by 250 basis points since May 2022. However, the International Bank has moderately lowered the Indian GDP growth expectation to 6.3% in financial year 2023-24, which is near the RBI's latest projection of 6.4%. Citing risks arising from global and domestic factors, the Asian Development Bank also projected 6.4% GDP growth in India. The second G20 Empower or Empowerment and Progression of Women's Economic Representation meeting under India's presidency commenced at Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala today. The theme of the three-day meeting is Women's Empowerment, a win-win for equity and economy. We have a report.
On the first day today, as part of the side events, panel discussions were held on issues such as career development opportunities for women, development in care economy, and the role of corporate sector in women empowerment. In the meeting, the Kerala State Women and Child Welfare Minister, Veena George, explained about the role of Kudumbashree in women empowerment in Kerala and the increase in the gender budget allocation of the state. G20 Empower Chairperson Dr. Sangeeta Reddy and other prominent people participated in the discussions. The plenary section of the G20 Empower meeting will begin tomorrow. Union Minister of State for Women and Child Development, Munchapara Mahendra Bhai, will attend the inaugural function. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
India has rejected the Chinese move of renaming places in Arunachal Pradesh. In a statement, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi today asserted that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of the country, and attempts to assign invented names will not alter this reality. The centre has said that 60% of rural households in the country have access to clean drinking water through taps. Jal Jeevan Mission was announced on the 15th of August in 2019 with the aim to provide assured tap water supply to every rural home by 2024. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said, "This is an outstanding achievement and will empower several lives." In Rajasthan, protesting doctors of private hospitals called off their 16-day-long strike after reaching an 8-point agreement with the state government over the Right to Health Bill. Expressing happiness over the development, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot said Rajasthan will become the first state to implement the Right to Health. Secretary of Private Hospitals and Nursing Homes Society, Dr. Vijay Kapoor, said the treatment of patients will start in all private hospitals from 8 a.m. tomorrow. More from our correspondent.
The Right to Health Bill was passed in the Assembly last month, which was opposed by private hospitals and doctors' associations. Health facilities were badly affected due to this strike of private hospitals for the last 16 days. The workload in government hospitals was increased due to this strike. After the agreement between the doctors and the government, now the way for the implementation of Right to Health Bill in the state has become easier, but now the government will have to make many amendments in the rules, and this bill will be applicable only in selected private hospitals. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Mahavir Jayanti was celebrated across the country today. It is one of the most important religious festivals of the Jain community. The President, Vice President and Prime Minister greeted the people on the occasion. Former U.S. President Donald Trump will appear before a New York State court today to face criminal charges related to paying hush money to an adult film star during the 2016 presidential campaign. The lawyer of the former president in a statement said he will plead not guilty to charges linked to $130,000 hush money paid to actor Stormy Daniels to maintain silence about her claim of an alleged tryst with him a decade earlier. Finland joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO today, becoming the 31st member of the military alliance and a historic shift in its security policy. The Finnish Foreign Minister handed the accession document to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken at Brussels, who declared Finland a member. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has called the move an encroachment on Russia's security. He alleged that the structure of NATO is hostile towards Russia. In IPL cricket, the match between Delhi Capitals and Gujarat Titans is underway in Delhi. Put into bat, Delhi Capitals were 148 for 6 in 18.3 overs when reports last came in. Earlier, Gujarat Titans won the toss and opted to field. Last night, Chennai Super Kings defeated Lucknow Super Giants by 12 runs in Chennai. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a bilateral meeting with King of Bhutan Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk in New Delhi, reiterates India's full support for socio-economic development of Bhutan and additional standby credit facility. 7 tourists killed after massive avalanche hits Gangtok Nathula Road in Sikkim. 23 people rescued so far. Union Home Ministry seeks detailed report from West Bengal government on violence during Ram Navami procession. Inflation in India to further ease to 5.2% in current financial year, says World Bank. And in IPL cricket match between Delhi Capitals and Gujarat Titans underway in Delhi. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.